Well, after months and months now of remote learning, a lot of students might be feeling a bit burnout, and the parents too.
And the parents too. How can you keep them motivated and help them through the challenging time?
Motivation's a big deal. Dr. Laura Saunders is a psychologist at the Institute of Living, and she's got some great suggestions. Hi, doctor. Good to see you again.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Could you explain, first of all, what burnout is? What is the definition of burnout?
So it's really like a lack of motivation or energy due to a particular stressor or something that's going on. Like you literally feel emotionally burned out. So I think the first step is figuring out why is your child burned out. Now, besides the obvious is, there was 3 to 4 months in the spring. We're going on at least 4 months of if not all remote, hybrid learning. Everyone's burned out.
Yeah.
So it's the new year. It's time to make some changes, but let's assess what is it that's causing the burnout. Is it, feeling disconnected? Is it, being, actually have some learning issues. You have attentional issues. You actually have learning issues. You're not getting the support that you need. So let's start by assessing what it is. And that's how we then dive into strategies.
A lot of times I think it's just the Groundhog Day thing, like, another day of the same thing and looking at the screen. So what's the first thing we do with parents? You say we kind of just need to validate them first and say, you're right, this is hard and this isn't normal.
I think it's important to validate and acknowledge, right? Validate that this is hard, validate that this has been going on a very long time. Gone are the days where parents used to just say to their kids, suck it up, right? That just doesn't work. It's just, it really demoralizes kids. And burnout is part of demoralization. So we need to acknowledge how difficult it is. It might be that we need to make changes to their workspace, right? They've been working at the desk in their bedroom. Maybe now they're working down the living room. There's more natural light in the living room. Let's look at maybe making some changes to their workspace. Perhaps removing distractions, right? If all their gaming stuff is right next to where they're doing their schoolwork, maybe you need to remove those distractions. So that's just a couple to start with.
What if your child it just isn't working, and they just can't seem to wrap their heads around this distant learning? Can you contact the school? Can you get some kind of help there? Or
I do worry about those kids that actually have learning disabilities and significant attentional issues that would get support if they were in school. So I do think it's important to contact the school. If you don't feel like they're getting enough support, work with the school on some strategies. I always worry about loss of social connection. We're social beings. We've been disconnected in many ways. Doing something innovative, inviting a friend over to remote learn at your house for the day, right? Or doing that once or twice a week, someone who's kind of in your pod, or allowing your child to remote learn at someone else's house. Doing some things to switch it up a little bit. And if you did that 2 days a week, it gives them a break in the routine. And it helps them socially feel like, okay, I'm just not learning all by myself. By definition, learning in a classroom is vicarious learning.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, doing some small things to switch it up can really be very helpful.
Yeah, if you could coordinate with another family, that could be great. You also say we should just let our kids know, just the fact that they're not in school, it's not as stimulating. So they tend to feel more tired. Maybe in the beginning they were getting up, getting dressed, and sitting at their desk, and now you're like, come on, keep it going.
Screens tire out our brains, right? And for those of us who are, as adults working remotely, like this is just very draining. I know for me, when I was doing telehealth in the spring, it was far more draining than being with folks all day long, which was in fact energizing for me. So acknowledging that screens can be very draining on our brain power is also part of this. And even though kids feel like they could game all day long, that's pleasurable for them.
Right.
Learning, we'd love for it to be pleasurable, but it's not pleasurable for everyone. It's work. So it can be really draining. So finding ways to take breaks off of screens, when there's breaks in between classes, say in high school, you have the kids sort of walk away from their screen, walk around the house, step outside, get a breath of fresh air, do something to take breaks.
All right.
Some good advice. We've got to fight the battle because, of course, in the break, then they want to look at their phones.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Thank you, Doctor.
But
We
it's a
always
different
appreciate
screen.
it. Yeah, it is a different screen, right?
Thank you, Dr. Saunders. Always great advice.
I'm looking forward to being back. Take care, everyone.